Solar's freaking awesome. You're jealous. I know you all are. Those screaming brats. I'm a pigeon dad. My baby's gonna fucking fly. Your fucking screaming brat will never fly. Never. And that kid might grow up and hate you. Solar's never gonna hate me and Remy. And I don't have to come up with money for college. You people and your children. You're jealous. You can't have this pigeon. It's not your pigeon. I wouldn't sell it for $1 million. Solar, that's my pigeon baby. And Remy's baby. Not for $1 million. No way. This is Solar. This is my baby pigeon. And when I mean mine, it's my pet, and I also helped hatch it. And how I helped hatch it was that I have a couple pigeons. And one of my pigeons laid an egg on a metal surface that has a mate. But there was no way that she was going to sit on it. It's a young pigeon. It was an improper place for her to lay the egg. And my pigeon Remy has never had a mate. I tried to get her male pigeons, and she's not interested in them. She thinks I'm her mate. She's confused. I fed Remy. Remy came to me with an air sac injury about the same age as Solar. And Solar is 11 days old. So feeding Remy, it just sort of confused her, and she responded to me. So she'll lay eggs and sit on them for 5 years, but they're not going to hatch because they're not fertilized. So I put it down, and Remy started sitting on it, and I figured she would. Now Remy we have moved. That's my raven Sam. It's an African raven, by the way. It's not a North American species. It's a brown neck pied crow hybrid. We have even moved the egg from house to house. No problems. Remy kept sitting on it. We even moved Solar after Solar was about 8 days old or something. Remy's still taking care of Solar. Remy's got to be exhausted. She's doing all of it. A pigeon's bond for life, and a male and a female pigeon take care of the baby. They both, like Chip and Casper have a baby right now, and one will sit on the baby for like 12 hours, and they do the same thing with the egg. And then the other one comes in, gives the other one a break. So Remy doesn't really get a break, but I give her breaks during the day, and I'll take care of the baby, I'll hold the baby and everything. But I just want to say I can't believe that this worked. When we started doing it, I started doing it going, okay, well, I could always run to Tractor Supply and get a $100 incubator, and when Remy had to take a break, we could put the egg in the incubator. And then I did research and found out that the lower incubation temperature for pigeon eggs is 98.6 degrees, the same temperature as a human being. It worked. And I saw that it was working, just a few, 6 days into it, you could candle the egg and see that it was growing, And we don't have any developmental issues with Solar. I think that Solar was having some having some leg problems. I changed the nesting material, and we're not having any problems at all. Solar's doing that pre-walking thing and everything. Solar's legs are staying underneath it. They're not splayed out. It's, Solar's doing great. Solar is starting to look like a little porcupine. See how the feathers Solar's getting? Now, this is the 11th day, and I'm pretty sure that Solar will be full-on walking soon. They should walk at about 2 weeks, give or take. And Solar's already sort of doing this, but not really, Solar's doing the pre-walking. Solar can get around doing that. Legs are functioning. And I just couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier for Remy. Myself, this is going to be a great pet. This is a bird that, has been handled by a human, by me, since it was very young. So it'll probably be very friendly. It will have no problems with humans. At least me, it's not going to. And pigeons make great pets. They really do. They're more stable than the other companion birds. Much more stable. And what I mean by that is, like, if you have a raven or a crow or a parrot, say you have the bird in a cage, and the cage is right here, and then you let the parrot or raven out, and then you want it to go back into the cage, but you had put a new picture behind the cage, the bird will be freaked out and not go back in. They're just sort of like unstable. Pigeons aren't like that. They don't care. They don't care. Like if I'm walking around with something on my shoulder through the studio or my house, that could flip out the raven or my cockatoo. Definitely. That stuff flips them out, but it doesn't affect the pigeons. The pigeons, you know, Remy might fly over and sit on my other shoulder while I'm doing it. If I have one of those, you know, those headlights, those, you know, LED headlights for outside, if I'm using that to find something inside or a flashlight, it flips Sam the Raven out. Doesn't affect the pigeons. They're just a very stable, they're a very stable breed. Now, they are one of the first domesticated birds. There is some conjecture that they are the first. You know, there's some, meaning conjecture, meaning some people believe that it was ground birds, right? But you see in paintings, you'll see pigeons and doves, you know. I think it was about 4000 BC that they believed that pigeons were domesticated, and I'm sure that they were domesticated. I mean, we don't have exact proof which bird was domesticated. We know that the dog was domesticated as the first domesticated animal. That's a fact. But as far as the birds go, there is some conjecture. We don't have exact proof which bird was domesticated first. And also, there's this is a fact that Indians that live in the Amazon were domesticating parrots way early. So we really don't know, but the pigeon is one of the birds that, you know, was domesticated a long, long time ago. So they're not afraid of humans. You know, people used them as a food source. They were bred for a food source for years. They've been bred to help in the military. I saw something just the other day that drug smugglers are using pigeons because they have a homing instinct. You know, if you have a coop outside, you can let them go and they always come back. You can take them away from the coop and let them loose and they'll fly back to the coop. They're amazing. A pigeon, this is true, can fly like 700 miles in a day. I read this, I was like flabbergasted. 700 miles in a day, that's hauling ass for 12 hours. You know, that's really moving. 700 miles in a day. 700 miles in a day in a car, you know, is a long distance. It's doing great. He can perch a little bit on my finger at this point. I know that the legs are functioning just fine. You know, we have a few more days. By day 18, the pigeon will be able to just kind of walk around. You know, I'm going to start helping Remy feed the pigeon because I think she's exhausted. You know, that's her life. Is like going in there, feeding the pigeon, coming out. I worry about Remy eating enough. I'm going to make her some scrambled eggs today. You know, give her a little extra protein. She's eating constantly. She's probably eating right now somewhere. But here's Solar, looking like a porcupine. Little baby Solar. That's obnoxious. Mango probably wants to go out. I want to hang out with Solar. Solar's so cute. How you doing, Solar? Solar's awesome. Solar, one other thing about Solar. Solar was born during the eclipse. When the eclipse was coming over this part of the United States, that's when Solar was hatching. That's why Solar's name is Solar. Solar's pretty awesome. I'm very happy about the whole thing. I am. I'm happy for Remy that Remy maybe this is me being, you know, a human, putting human experiences on Remy, who is non-human, but it seems like it was important to her. She kept sitting on eggs and they're never hatching. So she actually hatched an egg, and she's taking care of the baby, and she's done awesome. She's busting her fucking ass. She is. She's busting her ass. It's a beautiful baby. It's Chip's egg, Chip and Casper, so it's going to be a good-looking bird. Chip is a Budapest Tumbler, and Casper is another breed. I'm not sure which. I'm not really into pigeon breeds, or it doesn't really. It's not that important to me. But we have similar noses, like Solar's got a big beak, so do I, Solar sort of looks like Remy a little bit. I held, the egg, maybe some of me, rubbed off on Solar. We'll see. We will see. The longest I held the egg was probably about 3 or 4 hours. I never really had to worry about humidity. Like they say, increase the humidity on the egg, like the last couple days or whatever. You're supposed to worry about the humidity. One, we weren't using an incubator. And two, human beings sweat. So it was never a problem. I would assume that if you are a human and you could hold the egg for 18 days, the pigeon would start hatching. The scariest part was when the bird was so little, when it would just hatched. I mean, I have videos of this. He could fit in a teaspoon. That's how small he was. His wing, or her wing, we don't know which, was about the size of a plastic fork if you broke it in half. That's how small his wing was. And what I saw Remy doing was stimulating the bird a lot of times, like using her beak, and she took her beak and was like corn cob, like running along, like eating corn on the cob. On that little beak, I just had to walk away. I'm like, oh, this is crazy looking. It looks so tiny in Remy's mouth. Remy was so gentle to this bird. I was more flipped out than her. Obviously, she was just running on instincts. Me, I've been a wreck. Now I'm pretty calm about the whole thing. Chip and Casper's baby, I've looked at a couple times. I've seen it. It's moving around and everything, but I try and stay out of it. There's two of them. There's two pigeons. They can handle the situation. Anyway, little Solar. Day 11. Solar's going to have those big eyes that a Budapest Tumbler has.